Hello, it's Matthew Guyver, and I started this project UndoHate.com to help keep the conversation going around Proposition 8 and to help correct some of the misunderstandings and lies spread during the campaign, and also to help keep people motivated. The California Supreme Court only recently decided to hear several cases about the legality of Proposition 8, so it's now more important than ever for our voices to be heard. So I strongly encourage people to check out our website www.undohate.com to see how you can make your voice heard. Our website on the What Can I Do page has the email address and the names of all the California Supreme Court justices. So I strongly encourage you to check out our website and at least send them an email letting them know your opinions on Proposition 8. But one of the biggest misconceptions or lies surrounding Prop 8 and gay rights in California, and one that I hear almost every day, is that civil unions afford basically the same rights as a marriage in California law. Even on The View, Elizabeth said that, and said that gay couples should be fighting for rights, not for the word marriage. But this is completely not true. Under California law, a civil union does not afford the same rights as a marriage. And I want to discuss the rights awarded under marriage and civil unions in this video, and help explain how the differences basically come down to discrimination. The first difference is what I call portable unions, and that means that a civil union is only recognized in the state that issues it. So when a couple travels outside of that state for any reason, the other state won't recognize the civil union. And most states don't even have civil unions in this country. And it may not seem like a very big issue if don't move to another state, but can you imagine traveling and having your loved one collapse in the Salt Lake City, Utah airport and not having the right to make medical decisions on their behalf? I mean, when you really think about it, it is a big deal. Second of all, immigration. When a couple gets married, one spouse can legally sponsor the other spouse to immigrate into this country, but civil unions do not provide any of those rights. And I think this one basically comes down to direct discrimination against gay immigrants, both living in this country and those trying to get in this country. It's basically saying that if you happen to fall in love and want to marry someone of your own sex, that you are a less qualified candidate to become a citizen in this country, and it's unacceptable. Third, civil unions don't provide any federal protections whatsoever. And this includes but not limited to federal tax benefits, Social Security and veteran death benefits, etc. Now, I know many of you might be thinking, oh, well, California legalizing gay marriages isn't going to change federal law. And you're right, it won't change federal law. But I mean, think of the unjustness about it. Imagine a husband buying his wife a brand new car. If they just happen to be a domestic partnership or civil unions, that gift is a transfer of property, and that person would have to pay a federal gift tax on that. I mean, can you imagine the idea of like that kind of thing happening? But even more so than just federal requirements, it also affects state programs that are sponsored by the federal government, like Medicaid, that couples don't have access to those benefits. Fourth, it's lesser commitment. Simply put, in California, a marriage license is both harder to get and harder to dissolve than a civil union is. By law, after getting a marriage certificate, a couple must legally solemnize it, which means that they must have a ceremony with a legal witness who verifies it. However, this isn't the case with civil unions. All you have to do is fill out a declaration form and mail it to the court's office. And likewise with divorce, it's much stricter. California people seeking divorce have to meet very strict residency requirements, and I think they actually have to be residents for at least 6 months in the state before they can apply for divorce. But California courts can much easier dissolve a civil union, and the couples don't even have to be present in the state for the civil union to be dissolved. So one person could file for dissolve the civil union while the other person's out of state, and they wouldn't have any influence on it. But these kind of things combined make a civil union a lesser commitment than a marriage is, which makes it inherently unequal. Fifth, child and spousal support. And this one kind of goes with numbers 1 and 4, but because of the difficulty in enforcing civil unions outside of the issuing state, it makes child support and spousal support a lot more difficult of an issue. When a couple gets married, they may be legally entitled to spousal or child support regardless of where they live, but with a civil union, you have to remain in the state for that to be enforced. And also because of some issues regarding the lesser commitment issues, civil unions hold a lot less ground in spousal support cases in the California courts. And this brings me into number 6, more frequently challenged. In addition to issues with spousal and child support, civil unions are also much more frequently challenged in cases regarding death benefits. Unlike a marriage, which automatically awards death benefits to both partners, civil unions are more frequently overturned in California courts when it comes to issues like wills, trustees, and estate law. Number 7, the day-to-day differences. And these ones may seem insignificant to people, but when you think about it, they really do add up. I mean, just think about when you're applying for a job or a car loan and you have to check a box either married or single. Well, if you're civil union, you're not really either one of them. And people may think that this is silly and this isn't much of a difference, but a New Jersey study actually found that people in civil unions were treated differently both by employers and some state officials. So it does make a difference having to check that box. And 8th, paying for benefits. The truth about it is that civil unions do give hundreds of the same benefits that marriages do in the state of California. But marriages award thousands of benefits, not just hundreds. There are many that are missing from civil unions. However, anti-gay rights activists are always quick to say things like, with lawyers and paperwork, documents can be drawn up that will afford more, not all, of those same benefits. But think about it. At what cost? The cost associated with having a lawyer draw up those documents costs thousands and thousands of dollars. And why should a couple be forced to incur those additional expenses just because they're gay? It's not fair. It's discrimination. Marriage licenses cost under $100. It's unfair to force that higher fee on a couple just because they're gay. And I mean, let's think about it. We know that kind of thing is unjust. Look at polling taxes. We know it's unjust to place a fee on equal rights. As you can see, the lies going around are incorrect. Civil unions are not the same as a marriage in California, and gay rights activists are not just fighting for a word. We're fighting for equal rights under the law. So I encourage you to please join the fight. Like I said before, the California Supreme Court has agreed to hear these cases. It's important to let the justices know how you feel on these issues, regardless of your opinion. I encourage you to get involved, to go to our website, www.undohate.com, to find out more information and get the email address of those justices, and go to rallies. There are protests and rallies going on across the country and across the state every week. I encourage you to please get involved and help keep this dialogue going. Thank you.